So we've been through how you set up your system. We've showed you how to do a basic VIN check and check for a recall on a particular VIN in your inventory. We've then looked at how we deal with legacy VINs that you've handled over the years and the potential risk associated with the parts that may have been recalled on those parts. Ultimately, they end up in your My Vehicles tab, but also they end up in what we've developed here called the Resolution Manager. The Resolution Manager is probably one of the most important parts of the All Auto Recall system because it helps you in a traceable way take a part that's been recalled through to resolved. So what are we talking about in this section? We'll talk about why we created the Resolution Manager. What are the different statuses you need to know about? So what could the status of a part be at the point of you identifying that it's recalled? How do you resolve each of these statuses and what you should do? This is a really important part that I'm going to touch on at the end of these videos, but it's critical that at the end of doing all this work, you actually get some benefit out of it. So you can think of the Resolution Manager as a place where management, the owner of a business or a general manager of a business, can oversee what's happening with their defective parts. You don't want to be selling those parts, as we've stated earlier. So you can look at how things are going with your resolutions. It's a place where operations, so you may have a recalls person in your business, someone that's specifically focused on recalls. You want to see, or he or she wants to see how they're progressing. How many recalls do they have that they need to deal with today as opposed to yesterday? As we said, recalls can happen at any time. And as a result, you may have recalls popping into your Resolution Manager on a daily basis, as they're called. It's also a place where you can trace every recalled part through to its end state. Really, you want to resolve each of those recalls. And it's important that we built a mechanism, a tool that enables you to do that in a very clear and transparent way, but also a traceable way. You want to be able to trace these in the case that you need to deal with it at some point in time in the future with any potential government body. So we've run your historical inventory analysis. You've got 100, 1,000, 10,000. We've got some users got 70, 80,000 recalls in their historical inventory analysis. Some of those can be dealt with very quickly and very easily, but that's the extent. It's actually a big issue. What are the different statuses that you can identify? First one is that it could be in stock. So you may have dismantled the vehicle a year ago, 2 months ago, or 5 years ago, but you still have that part in stock. As we know, this industry holds product because it may not sell it for some time, especially if you're dealing with really late model vehicles. So it could be still in your inventory, either on the shelf or out on the vehicle. It could have been crushed or destroyed. So we've taken parts off a vehicle, we've harvested parts off a vehicle, and we've taken that vehicle right through to crushing. So we've sent it off to the processors so they can crush that vehicle and smelt the metal. Often we leave a lot of parts on these vehicles. Well, most of the time we leave a lot of parts on these vehicles. So you may have crushed that part with the vehicle. We'll show you how you deal with those. And ultimately, really importantly, you may have sold a part. Really dangerous if you've sold a recalled part. Dangerous for you as a director, as someone that's responsible, a manager in a business, to not deal with that part, but also really important to the consumer. We want to make sure we keep the consumer safe. So a bit of an overview of the Resolution Manager screen. Again, there's a fair bit happening here. You've always got in here some instructions, some dot points that you can read and understand what's happening there and what you potentially need to do next. But basic functions here, you've got the Resolution Manager. That's the tab that you click on to get to this screen. You'll see here that there are unresolved parts. They're the parts that you need to work on yet, right? So there's 4 in there. You can see that you've already put 2 of the recall parts into stock. You've got 9 that are sold. You need to deal with those, and we'll show you how. And 10 ultimately have gone right through to having been resolved. They're the outstanding 4 unresolved parts, and you can see there that there are 3 airbags. And the last one here, unless it's an airbag, it won't display what the part name is at the moment. We're working on that. But if you click the plus button, it'll drop down very quickly on your screen and show you exactly what that is. And over here, you've got the inventory status piece where you mark whether it's in stock, sold, or crushed. Okay, so we've spoken about a high-level overview of the Resolution Manager. In our next video, we're going to be talking about how to resolve an in-stock part.